Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. Hey guys, today is Tuesday, December 6th, and the day adds up and reduced to the number 6 vibration. If today's your birthday, happy birthday. When it comes to the energies within this day, of course, Mars is the ruler of the day because Mars rules over Aries and Mars is in Gemini. And Gemini deals with family members, local communities, our siblings, the people that we associate ourselves with in quick and fast communication. And sometimes communication that seem more as surface or superficial. And I think of the energies of the day. The number 6 energy is a materialistic energy. Just like Gemini energy, the number 6 energy deals with family members, community, relationships. So when it comes to the energies of this day, you can easily find yourself focused on relationships, connections, family, and also to your status, how you have evolved and where you are in relations to your community. On this day, Mercury moves into Capricorn, and Mercury is the mind and Capricorn is our goals, our status, how we take responsibility. When I think of Mercury moving into Capricorn, the 6th vibration associated with the day, and Mars in Gemini, on this day is where some of us could find ourselves big time reflecting on our goals and status, how far we've come and what we've achieved. Gemini energy is a social energy just like the number 6. So this is a day where you could find yourself catching up with old friends, connecting with some people you haven't spoken to in a really long time, and you guys crossing each other's path and connecting. But what I love with Mars in retrograde is you will see which one of the engagements and interactions come natural and which one is forced. And this even goes to family members. You'll see what's forced because traditionally we are taught that you're supposed to be this way with these people. So we force ourselves, where with the Mars and retrograde energy, this is where we'll be forced to be honest with ourselves, and from an honest experience, this is where some of us can start rethinking about how we spend our time, who we spend our time with, and why we spend our time with the people we spend our time with. It all comes down to peace. You want to spend your time with people who support your peace. When I say people who support your peace, I'm not saying to associate yourself with people who validate you, because who validates you owns you. But what I am saying is you want to associate yourself with people who share the same problems as you. When I say share the same problems as you, a lot of the times, a lot of us could find ourselves being the big fish in the small pond. The big fish in the small pond, meaning that out of all your friends, you are the only one that have your ish together. You're the one giving advice to everybody else because everybody else is a straight up mess, and you're the one fixing everything. To me, that's not a good sign, and I had to learn that within myself. It's not a good sign because it shows a few things. Number one, it shows our inability to receive, because if you're the biggest fish in the pond, that means you're always the giver. And if you're always the giver, that means that there's issues when it comes to receiving, and that could be the reason for not receiving all that you want when it comes to abundance and more within the universe. It also shows our ability to grow, and that we've grown as far as we're gonna grow, because there's no one around us for us to learn to in that situation. And in some situations it could show insecurities that we might have being around people who don't need us, people who don't need us. And for me in the past, my self-worth used to tie into what I do for people and how I help. So if ever I was around people who didn't need me, I felt insignificant, and I learned that was an insecurity. So when it comes to, say, the energies within this day, those are some things that might stand out to you. Those are some things you might have a realization about yourself when it comes to. Where for me, yeah, you want to have people that have same problems as you. What I mean by that, when I said that earlier, same problems as you is, for example, say right now you've come to a point in your life where the problems that you're having is not the problems you used to have. Where, say, before, the problems you used to have was gossip and drama, he say, she say, and the other people you're talking to, their issues is the same drama, and who's hating on them from who ain't hating on them. And that's the issue that they're having. That's the issue that you were having. Where, say, someone who's dedicated to growth and their spiritual path and bettering themselves, issues they might be having is, I want to figure out how to maximize my time. And it's not a problem per se, but I guess I say have same problems as you, meaning mind is focused on similar things. An example that comes to mind is, say the old you might have had a problem with insecurities and not feeling good enough around anyone. So the problem that you had was you felt like people were putting you down and people were this, that, and the next. And then you matured and realized that those were your insecurities and your fears projected on other people, or you showing up and looking for other people to validate you, and them not validating you looked like this, that, or the next. And then there were probably real situations where you attracted some jerks because of the way how you possibly saw life. And I might say this and it might trigger some people, but to me this goes back into, we create our reality by how we choose to perceive it and how we choose to show up to it. When it comes to, say, now a mature you, problems that you might have now is ways how to make your money work for you. You might not have the most money, but that's okay. You come to realize and see energy different. Problems you might have now is, how could you be more resourceful and what kind of problems could you solve? So that's what I mean by have similar problems as you. Maybe problem isn't the right word. Maybe interest, has similar interest as you. And when it comes to interest, it doesn't mean that you guys have the same interests, want the same things, but you guys are on similar levels in the sense that you guys are the kind of people you associate yourself with. They can help you and you can help them. It's not one-sided where you're the only one that's helping. And also, too, these connections could reflect how confident you're in, how confident you are in yourself, and how you know you're worthy and deserving of the best. And you don't always need to be doing something to be somewhere. You don't always need to be in service to be in certain places, in the presence of certain people, is what's coming up. Because with the number 6 energy, the number 6 energy talks about how we define success based on material things, and true success should be defined based on spiritual and emotional growth. So as we're growing spiritually and emotionally, we have less problems, really. And it's not that life just becomes so much more amazing. It does, but it does because you see things different. Instead of seeing problems in certain things, you seek solutions in certain things. An example for me is, the other day I was at the grocery store, and I always pull into the parking lot and go to the side of the grocery store, never the front. When I pulled into the side of the grocery store, it was the day before Thanksgiving, so of course it was packed on that side, but that's the side I always park. And if any of you ever seen The Secret, there's a part of The Secret where this guy talks about manifesting car parks. I think I'm that guy. Normally I'll pull up, there's a spot for me, or I'll pull in the aisle, turn the car around, and somebody is leaving. So I turn the car around, and of course somebody is leaving out of a spot. So I'm setting myself up to pull in the spot. But intuitively it crossed my mind, like, what if somebody busts the corner and take it? But I'm setting myself up to park in this spot. And I'm going this way, and the car is backing out of the space, and this lady busts the corner and jumps in the spot. I was so frustrated. Like, I felt myself thinking the worst things. I even blew the horn real hard. Like, I was gonna take that. She didn't care. She parked her car and walked out as if nothing happened. I felt, I'm not even gonna say all I felt. But then even in that moment, I saw myself like asking God, like, why did this happen? What does this mean? Those are some things I'm asking myself, like, how did I attract this? How did this happen? What does this mean? And instead of dwelling too much into it, or even looking for another parking in that area, I was just so disgusted. I bust a right and came in front of the store. And right in front of the store was like 2 parking spaces just sitting there. And I pulled into the parking space sitting in the front of the store, like right there in the front. It was way closer and way convenient than the one on the side. And in that moment, I'm like, okay, I see what you did, God. In the sense that if that lady didn't take that spot, I wouldn't realize that there's other spots even more convenient and better, which shows that I was just so stuck in my ways. I was just so used to one thing that I completely overlooked other possibilities. So that lady was a catalyst to show me that there's other, and I could apply that to anything in my life, how I'm so used to looking in one place that I overlook everything else. And I see that with the moon in Taurus on this day. The moon is in a place of comfort. I was so comfortable and used to parking on that side. It felt like a sure thing until that lady pissed me off, and I decided, you know what, let me go to the other side, because you guys, but then when I got to the other side and got to that parking spot, which is even closer or more convenient, I had to let all of that energy go. I had to let all of what I was holding go. But the number 6 energy is one that deals with material success. And this is where we define ourselves based on material success. In that moment, I saw how much I grew based on me being pissed off and feeling so angry and watching her walk in front of my car as I go look for a new space. In that moment, I was telling myself, this isn't personal. This has nothing to do with me. I don't know what's happening, but let me watch this play out. That's what I was saying to myself. And you guys, it's something as simple as a car parking situation, but I took that ish personal. I took it personal because I'm like, where's her integrity? Like, I'm sitting there waiting. She see me waiting, but she didn't care. She's like, I'm here first, even though I was waiting. And if it didn't happen, I wouldn't realize that I need to be more aware of all of my options. And with the 6th aspect to the day, I always encourage people on these days to avoid social media if you're not feeling your best, because it's so easy to overlook the whole picture. Easy to overlook the whole picture in the sense that you go on social media and other people are sharing the best percentage of their life, and it's easy for you to forget how much you've achieved and how far you've come. Overlook the entire big picture. And Mercury is in Capricorn. The mind is in a place of ambition, goal, and success. The mind is in a place of everybody is looking at me. What does everybody think about me? Does everybody see me as successful? Does everybody see me as competent? Does everybody see me as achieving great things? where when I look at the moon entering into Capricorn and the number 6 energy, this energy could be the kind of energy that encourages a person to even make major investments or make big purchases just to validate or justify how far they've come, their status, their level of achievement, because this is where success is focused on material things. And also to focus when it comes to family, taking on responsibility for family, taking on burden when it comes to family. The moon is in Taurus, and the moon is positively aspecting Pluto and Capricorn. The moon is also positively aspecting Jupiter conjunct Neptune and Pisces. So when I look at the positive aspects being made to the moon is in a place where the inner world is open to transformation. It's open to fantasizing and looking into different ways how one can create more pleasure, fun, and opportunity in one's life. The moon is in a place where it's aware of transformations and endings that's happening, but instead of fighting it, it's in a place where it's dreaming, it's optimistic about the different possibilities. It's in a place where it's willing to take responsibility. And to me, to take responsibility is us choosing how we will respond to a situation. So in the moment when the lady took that parking spot from me, the old me, the younger me, felt so in my feelings, like I feel like I want to just reach out and touch her with a paw. But then the mature part of me is like, what does this mean? This means something. Be patient. What does this mean? It means something. Be patient. So I took responsibility by choosing how to respond, where it's so easy to had got into an argument with her because I was there waiting first. It was so easy to get into an argument with her. It's so easy for it to get ugly, but instead I chose to respond by driving away and finding another parking spot. And I chose to focus on how it worked out for me in the end. I got something closer and even so much more convenient, all because what happened. And instead of dwelling in it, I looked for a solution, and looking for a solution, like, okay, God, something better must be out there why this just happened. And that's just me expecting the universe to always support me in all that I do. And it's important for you to do the same. And I love to tell myself, and I think you should tell yourself too, the Creator has a lot of children and I'm the favorite. It doesn't mean I'm more favorite than anybody else, but it means I believe that the Creator supports me, favors me, not in relation to anyone else, but it's important for you to feel the same about yourself. So regardless of what happens, you're always looking for something good to come from it, because you know that the universe is conspiring for your greatest good. So when it comes to the 6 aspects of this day, it's important, if there's disappointment or frustration, to look for the silver lining, they call it. Look for how this is benefiting you, because in some way, somehow it is. But the challenging aspect of the number 6 energy, this is where we can dwell in, say, the material side of things, dwell on the negative side of things, and to a certain extent feel like the victims or feel self-righteous, like, how dare they do that to me, it's not fair type of energy. And that's how I felt with the parking spot. But instead I felt that, and I was witnessing myself feeling that way and thinking all kind of nasty things about that lady. I observed myself think those thoughts, and then I also observed myself say, just drive, something got to come out of this, something better has to come out of this. And it did. So when it comes to the energies of this day, the spirit animal card for the day is the sea serpent. And the sea serpent energy is a magical energy. It's a mystic energy. When it comes to the sea serpent being the spirit animal of the day, I look at the eye in the center of the serpent. And then I look at how the serpent creates like a circle. So I think of cycles and systems and being able to sit down and see yourself within a cycle and a system, see your role within a cycle and a system, and see how much you're growing or how much more you might need to grow. With that car parking situation, I saw how much I grew. I saw how much I grew because I didn't allow it to dominate my day. Instead, I saw it as a catalyst. Like I saw it as God using her to show me how in other areas of my life I might be limited because I'm looking in a certain area when there's so much other things available to me. And I need to become aware of other things that are available to me by exploring other options, which is similar to the moon in Taurus, which is so fixated on what's familiar and traditional to the point where a person doesn't explore other options. Or the material aspect of the number 6 energy, where a person will stick with a friend group that isn't supportive, stick with a friend group that's filled with frenemies and fake connections, but stick with them because it's familiar, because that's what they've always known. Or when it comes to the energies of this day, ask yourself, are there other options that you're not exploring? Are you forcing yourself to participate in something because it's familiar? Are you forcing yourself to be a part of a friend group, a family dynamic, just because you're afraid to be alone? And if that's the case, why? And like I've said in the other videos, when it comes to becoming aware, you don't have to do anything right now. Just become aware of the dynamic. And if this is something that you do, just become aware of it, because that's the first step. Like once we are aware, we're almost there, because it's a matter of recognizing triggers that lead us into a certain path and then redirect ourselves the way we would redirect a child from danger, a child that just learned how to walk, that's picking up all kind of things. We would redirect that child the same way how we would continue to redirect ourselves until we get the message. Or for me, I've been doing a lot of work on redirecting myself in the moment. We're in the moment, like the moment with the parking situation. It sounds so simple, you guys, but when I tell you, I've done so much work on redirecting myself to where when it was happening, I was in my feelings, but at the same time, I noticed another thought that followed the thought of all the negative things I was thinking about that lady. Another thought followed, like, something good has to come out of this. I don't know what it is, but it just can't go down like this. I know God has me. God always has me. So that's something to keep in mind, that God always has you. God will always have you. So if there's issues coming up today when it comes to family members, or you coming to a realization that it's not fair for you to take on certain responsibilities that you normally do, or setting better boundaries and you're afraid of being rejected, or something coming to an end when it comes to that, just trust that the Creator always has you. The Creator has to have you. You guys, such a pleasure sharing this message with you. If you'd like to book a natal chart or tarot card reading, the links are in the description box below. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member on Patreon, that link is also in the description box below. If you're still here with me, I'd love to hear about it. Please let me know by dropping me a white heart in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.